Hello, and welcome to a demonstration of my portfolio, jakemccampbell.com. You might be wondering why I'm doing a demo of a place where I consolidate projects and store demos. And that's because this project is a project in and of itself. I wanted a place where I could showcase all my projects and experience, but I wanted that place to be something that is responsive, something that's highly performant, and something that is a joy to use. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the features that are on this website, and then I'll go ahead and talk briefly about some of the technologies that are used within. So here we are on the main page. There are a lot of buttons that you see right at first glance, but nothing really too in your face. We have the home button right here. We have the about button, which will take you down to the about section. If you click the projects link down here, you're taken down to a card grid of other projects. And if you hover over a project, you can see the live deployment link, a demo video link, and then the GitHub repository. Each project has just enough information about it to kind of give a good idea of what was going on, and it's really just a summary of what the project is with some of the technologies down here. If we keep going down to the bottom by clicking on the contact button, we can see ways to get in touch with me. You can email me or schedule a meeting here. Down in the footer, we have some important links for me. We have my LinkedIn page, my GitHub repositories here, my Twitter, my Medium, where I write blog posts about web development, Spotify to what I'm currently listening to, and then a place to get in contact with me via email. Last link that I didn't click on up here is the experience link. I'll also click on it down here, and that takes us to another page that is my web version of my resume. So here we have another card grid that has my professional experience. So most recently I've worked as a freelance full stack web developer. If we continue down, I've been a HUTS field coordinator for a number of years, as a house advisor at a therapeutic ranch, and then a senior field instructor for Evoke therapy programs. So this showcases my background before web development in mental health and nonprofit conservation management. Down here we have some other jobs that I've had as well in another card grid. One of my favorite things about this website is that not only is it nicely designed, but it has a couple of other features here. So that I'll start by talking about some of the CSS that we have going on here. And what this is they use some media queries and a couple of different layouts with grid and flexbox to make things look good on all devices. So here we are on a mobile phone, which I would imagine that a lot of people will view this website if they're coming, straight from a Twitter link that I put out or a LinkedIn post. They might be viewing this on the phone. So I want to make sure that this looks good and is pretty, intuitive when you come to it. So you'll notice that there's no menu up here, but everything else is scrollable. If we click on this, it will scroll down to the About page, and then the Experience button, which is now gone. To navigate to that page, we can click on that right here. So we click on that right here. One thing that it didn't show on that previous page is that there's a link to download my resume. So if this all looks good to you, but you want to see it in a PDF format, we can click on this. We'll see my resume pop up right there. This link is easy to update for me, so anytime I have changes to my resume, I can just kind of pop in and change that download link. But let's head back to the website. If I want to view this on a different device, I can. Let's say an iPad. That all looks good. That grid layout changes a little bit. I can go back home, and we have that nice transition. And then, all these links all these layouts work on all devices. So here are the project pages. Since there's no hover capability on iPhones and iPads or phones and tablets, those links that were only visible by hover are now just always visible. So that's great. One thing that's great about this website that was fun for me is to try to keep it as lightweight as possible. So there's a lot of HTML here, but there's really not that much JavaScript. There are two things that use JavaScript. I'll leave the responsive layout for a second so we can see this in full screen. There are two things that use JavaScript here. Then the first one is this dark toggle theme up here. And this uses CSS variables to change the theme of the entire website. So if I were to click on it, we'd be able to see this in light view. And this works all the way across the website. So if I come here, it's going to persist that same state. And what that does is that changes the global CSS variable, which changes the theme, and then that theme state gets saved in local storage so that anytime you come back to this website, or if you open up a new tab and head to this website, it's going to pull up that same theme there too. So that is one way to use JavaScript. That icon will change when you click on it too. And the next thing that uses JavaScript is this project information folder. It was getting pretty tedious to go through and adjust all the HTML every time I wanted to update a project. And so what I did was I created an array of objects that each contain information about each project. And then I iterated over that array with a HTML template element and rendered those to the page with that. So that is a nice little example of some object-oriented programming going on here with a custom render engine that is able to keep things kind of nice for me on my end to be able to update projects, that keeps things nice and visible here so that there's some consistency across all the cards and very little room for mistake when I go back and update things. So that's it. Thanks for viewing a demo of the place where I view demos. It's pretty meta, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you take a chance to look around this project yourself. Bye.